Whether you file online or through the Postal Service, today is the day of reckoning. Good evening. This is CTV News. I'm Byron Scott.
And I'm Patricia Valone. Thank you for joining us this evening. Well, it may be just another Wednesday for those who have already prepared and filed their annual paperwork with the Internal Revenue Service. According to the agency, a majority of taxpayers get money back from their returns. For procrastinators like me, the deadline to file is fast approaching. Rochelle Metzger is in Largo with more.
Happy tax day, or not. For most people, it depends on if you owe money or you're getting some back. For last-minute filers, it's a mad dash to mail or send in your income tax returns by midnight tonight. Here at the Largo Kettering location, the line isn't so bad. Customers we spoke with say they've been pleased with how smooth and steady the mailing process has been.
It's priority. Yes, priority number one.
April 15th. The deadline for filing income tax returns has finally arrived. For many Americans, it's a day long associated with stress and dread.
I knew it was coming, but I just waited until the last minute.
Customers coming to the Largo post office find a full lot and a steady stream of cars.
I'm going to put it in the mail right now.
For last-minute filers, the rush is on to finish filling out complicated forms, possibly making a payment to Uncle Sam, and then a mad dash to either mail or send them off.
I put the taxes in the mailbox, and that's what I came for.
And how do you feel?
Relieved.
It feels good. I wish my husband would do it electronically so I wouldn't have to bring it out here.
With the line inside growing, customers say they were pleased to see things moving.
They seem to know, this is what we need to do to make sure the line is moving.
If you owe money but you can't pay, it's still important to file your income tax returns on time. The post office recommends mailing forms as early as possible. Otherwise, you should find a site that's open late. Hours do vary by location, but you can go online and find one closest to you. And finally, if you haven't finished preparing your taxes, file for an extension. It'll buy you an extra 6 months. In Largo, I'm Rochelle Metzger, CTV News.
And the Postal Service also advises tax filers to make sure all envelopes have the correct postage and a return address. In order to receive an April 15th postmark, mail must be deposited before the last collection time. Post office hours and collection box schedules can vary, so be sure to double-check pickup times beforehand. For information on locations near you, visit USPS.com.
And for the last 13 years, the local nonprofit has been helping low-income residents and senior citizens by doing their taxes for free. Last night, more than a dozen volunteer tax preparers worked rigorously to help as many people as they could. CTV's Sonia Shrivastava has more.
Well, folks are definitely trying to meet this April 15th deadline. Now, we are at the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Programs Center here at the campus of Prince George's Community College. I'm joined now by Betty Habershaw. You've been doing this for 13 years, Betty. How important is this center to our county?
Yes, this makes a big difference in our community because we support our seniors, low and moderate income residents. It's so important for people to have a safe and effective place to have their taxes prepared and also receive education of how their tax return is being prepared.
Now, they have about 15 IRS certified tax preparer on site. So as you walk in, you require folks to bring in some of their paperwork, and then these folks take over.
Exactly. They have to have their Social Security card. It's very important. IRS requires it, and they bring all of their tax documents in. Then they will be placed with a preparer who is certified, and we do basically itemize, we do all the credits, we really handle everything that most of our residents would need.
And this is at no charge?
No charge whatsoever, and we do e-filing. We hope that they will also bring their bank information in so that they can have direct deposit. That's the safest way to get their refunds. And many of our tax preparers are getting the earned income tax credit, our taxpayers, and that's a significant amount when you have children. So we want them to get it safely.
Now, speaking of the income tax credit, now that is given to folks who make a certain amount of money in total income. Tell us about that.
Well, the important thing is you have to work. If you don't work, you don't get earned income tax credit. For everyone that is within the income guidelines is entitled to the earned income tax credit, but the people it really benefits are those parents with children. Because if you have children up to 3, you don't get a benefit for having more and more, but up to 3, you will get checks up to $6,000 in some cases.
I was going to H&R Block. They would charge me $100 and something, but to come here and get it free, so.
Yeah. And that $100, does that go to something else?
Yeah, pay some bills.
The amount of people that comes in, they really appreciate us. I mean, they tell us, not even telling, they present it emotionally. They give you hugs and say they love us being here, and it's a great thing that we are doing for the community.
Now, the VITA program has helped hundreds of Prince George's residents since its existence, and this year certainly no exception. In Largo, I'm Sonia Shrivastava. Back to you all in the studio.
And again, we should mention that all the tax preparers are volunteers.
Well, Prince George's is the only county in the state where women make more money than men. In light of yesterday's Equal Pay Day, the National Women's Law Center found ladies were earning about $51,000 while men make a little more than $49,000 in the county. In Maryland, however, the average full-time working woman garners about 86 cents for every dollar made by men. Greenbelt resident Sheila Maffei-Toothill says she would like to see the wage gap shrink.
I am not making the wage that I necessarily would want to be. I would love to have an opportunity to have a bit more income parity with some of my folks in the museum community that are male. So I'm all for addressing it, and I think the politicians should know that it's time.
And St. Mary's County women experience the biggest wage gap in the state, earning 32 cents per hour less than men.
And Prince George's firefighters in Oxon Hill this afternoon. This was the scene on the 5100 block of Deal Road. Investigators say it began at around 12:30 this afternoon and that it may have started in a closet of a third-floor unit. No one injured, but 5 people from that apartment unable to go back to their homes. No other units were damaged.
Green Line and MARC train services between 2 Prince George's stations come to a halt after Pedestrian bridge collapses onto the tracks. Fire rescue officials reported to the scene in Berwyn Heights between the College Park and Greenbelt Metro stations around 3:15 this afternoon. A preliminary investigation shows that a piece of construction equipment hit the walkway, causing it to fall. MARC trains have been suspended. The service has been suspended from the Camden station. Meanwhile, Yellow Line services are operating to and from College Park to supplement Green Line services. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone.
And I'm Byron Scott.